You've probably noticed that the price of building a PC or buying a new laptop feels a little different lately. It's not just inflation, and it's not just a bad month for sales. We are currently witnessing a seismic shift in the global tech economy that most people are completely misreading. For 30 years, the tech industry has relied on a predictable cycle of memory production. But right now, for the first time in 3 decades, every major category of memory, the stuff that makes your phone fast and your computer run, is in a simultaneous free fall of supply. We're talking about a RAM crisis that goes far beyond a few extra dollars at checkout. This is a fundamental restructuring of who gets access to technology and who gets left behind. If you've been waiting to upgrade your gear, the ground just shifted under your feet. We need to talk about why this is happening, why the Stargate project is changing everything, and why the brands you've trusted for years are suddenly turning their backs on you. To understand why your wallet is hurting, we have to look at the 2 lungs of the modern device, DRAM and NAND. Think of DRAM as your computer's short-term memory. It's the high-speed workspace where your processor handles everything you're doing right this second. It's in your RAM sticks, your high-end graphics cards, and even embedded in your phone's CPU. Then you have NAND, which is the long-term storage, the digital warehouse found in your SSDs and thumb drives. Usually, when one of these goes up in price, the other stays stable. But right now, both are being sucked into a vacuum created by a single massive industry, artificial intelligence. We aren't just talking about ChatGPT, we are talking about a global arms race to build the infrastructure that will run the next decade of human civilization. The real villain in this story isn't a person, but a technology called HBM, or high bandwidth memory. This is the supermemory required for AI data centers. Imagine a standard DDR4 or DDR5 RAM stick as a 2-lane country road. HBM is a 20-lane massive highway. Because AI models like Gemini and Sora require billions of calculations per second, the companies building them, think OpenAI, Microsoft, and Google, don't want the stuff you put in your gaming rig. They want HBM. And here's the kicker. Manufacturing HBM is incredibly profitable for giants like Samsung, SK Hynix, and Micron. They've realized that selling one high-end AI chip to a data center is worth more than selling 1,000 RAM sticks to gamers or office workers. Consequently, they're literally gutting their consumer production lines to make room for HBM. They aren't just raising prices, they're effectively exiting the consumer market to chase the AI gold rush. If you want to know exactly when the point of no return happened, look at Project Stargate. Earlier in 2025, a massive consortium led by OpenAI and Oracle greenlit a $500 billion investment to build the most powerful AI supercomputer in history. When an order that large hits the market, it doesn't just influence supply, it consumes it. Every single NAND chip and HBM module that can be manufactured for the next year has essentially already been spoken for by these massive projects. This has created a trickle-down shortage. Since the manufacturers are focused on the high-margin AI chips, they've stopped innovating on the DDR chips we use for gaming. This is why we're seeing reports of companies like Micron essentially retiring their crucial brand for consumers. They've looked at the math and decided that you, the individual user, are no longer a priority. The consequences are already leaking into the hardware market in strange, frustrating ways. We're hearing whispers from the supply chain that the next generation of mid-range GPUs might ship to manufacturers like ASUS or MSI as bare boards without the VRAM included. This means the board partners have to go out and hunt for memory in a starving market, which drives the final price of a graphics card through the roof. We are approaching a reality where buying 32 gigs of high-quality RAM might cost as much as the GPU itself. Even giants like Dell and Lenovo are flagging 15% price hikes on laptops just to cover the cost of the memory inside. This isn't a temporary spike, it's the new baseline for tech pricing. Beyond the price tags, there's a deeper, more dangerous layer to this crisis: international politics. The US and China are currently locked in a memory war. China holds the cards when it comes to the rare earth elements needed to build these chips, while the US controls the high-tech machinery required to print them. As both nations scramble to secure AI dominance, they're using chip supply as a weapon. Every time a trade ban is placed or an export is restricted, the global supply shrinks even further. This isn't just about your PC build anymore, it's about national security. When memory becomes a strategic resource on par with oil, the average consumer is always the first one to be squeezed out of the market. So, what do you actually do if you need a computer right now? My advice is to move fast, but move smart. If you see a reputable brand of RAM at a price that doesn't make your eyes water, buy it. Don't wait for Black Friday or next year's model. Those days of predictable price drops are over for now. However, you have to be extremely careful with the second-hand market. While buying used RAM modules is generally safe because they don't have moving parts or wear out easily, you should absolutely stay away from second-hand SSDs. With the shortage, we're seeing a massive influx of counterfeit storage and zombie drives that have been stripped from data centers after their lifespan has been exhausted. If a deal looks too good to be true in this market, it's probably a trap. Let me know in the comments, how are you pivoting your setup to survive this? Thanks for sticking with me through this deep dive. Stay informed, stay smart, and I'll see you in the next one.